Welcome back to the second episode of the new year, 2025, although it's already March, of LA Dolce Vita podcast. Hollywood journeys from couch surfing to the Walk of Fame. Today here we have a beautiful ballerina, a Los Angeles ballerina. Her name is Carmen Callahan.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm doing well. So.
How's the day of a ballerina? What did you do today?
I feel like I've already had such a full day. I woke up early and I have one other job. So I worked for a law firm that I work for.
Oh, wow. So we should reintroduce here a lawyer and ballerina.
Not a lawyer at all, but
What do you do there?
I do some clerical work for the firm. So some bookkeeping, accounting kind of stuff, remote. So a lot of times, actually, before I dance, I'll get up early and Zoom or have a meeting with somebody who lives on the East Coast.
Wow.
So then I get up at 7 a.m. I do my work, and then around 9, 10, I'll leave to go to class.
Oh, wow.
So
and today you took class with Hollywood Ballet.
Yes.
Yeah, local company, Los Angeles local company.
Yes. Petra Conti and Ersnessa.
They're very well.
Incredible people. So I usually go take that class
regularly. Yeah, I see you often there. Yeah.
Or I'll take Chasen Greenwood's class at Westside.
Yeah. So Chasen is another great choreographer with this company.
He's great. I've been in many of his works, and so I try to spread it around. Take different people's classes, especially depending on.
Yeah, and you work with them both with Hollywood Ballet and Chasen, so you just get to train with people that you work with. But that's very interesting right away, because so I didn't know this about you, and I think I haven't talked about this with any other of my guests so far. So an artist, because we talk about couch surfing and we'll talk more about it with you, but how to support yourself as an artist when you're not working for a while. Actors, they get a great job, then for a while nothing. Dancers, because in LA we don't have a company like La Scala where you get a contract that lasts all of your life and pays all of your bills and everything, or a writer. So you can find a job. We are used to restaurants. And it can be very, very hard though, because it's, especially for a dancer to work in a restaurant, because it has a lot of physical demands. So instead you found this job in a law firm. Tell us about it.
Yes. Actually for a while I had several jobs. I had many, many clients that I was kind of doing this same thing.
Bookkeeping,
Bookkeeping, remote, personal assist type of work. So accounting, a lot of it ends up being accounting, social media. I've done that side of things for people, depending on what they need. A lot of times people just want to hire a blank assistant. They're I need an assistant. I need someone to do exactly.
For many years.
And then sometimes if you're a remote assistant, it's not really a lot of errands, but it's more of I need someone to run my Instagram, or I need someone to monitor this email address, or I need someone to track down the receipts from all the expenses that I need to be reimbursed for. So it really depends the client or who it is.
And how did you start that? And of course we'll get to your artistic part, but this is very interesting for people who want to come to Hollywood. So how did you think about it? Because you're an artist, so how did you think about it? Where did you find your first job? Of course I don't want information that you cannot give, but in general for someone who's
I fell into it completely. When I danced at, I came to LA, I danced at American Contemporary Ballet for 6 years. And when I danced there, I accidentally fell into this job of being the director's assistant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I learned a lot.
Lincoln, okay.
I learned a lot about production and
Beautiful.
all of the things that go into making the show happen and making the ballet company work.
Wow.
And it's so many things, because you think, it's a ballet company and they need dancers and they need to dance, but it's they still have to do taxes. They still have
Absolutely.
They still have to like source the venue. They still have to, source a lighting designer and make sure that person gets paid, and like all like
it's
still
a huge
a business.
production.
Still a business. So I did a lot of that, and then I found I didn't really like it because I didn't like dancing and doing and working for the same company. It was awful because it was very, very busy.
There was a conflict of interest?
Totally. It was very, very busy, like going up to the show, and I would have to focus on the show, and then I would be super busy trying to help them produce the show. And nobody ever like realized that I couldn't do it all. Yeah, I was drowning. I couldn't do it all. I never ever got like a big role from that company because I never was dancing well. It was just like
I never was dancing.
No, really, I never was dancing well.
I love this line.
I never danced well in my life until like recently. Because like
I never danced so well. I love it.
It's crazy because you have to.
Well, you were dancing. Can I say something? Well enough to be in the company. So let's clarify that for the people who are watching. But I love that a professional is like, I never danced well.
So true. We all think we don't.
Yeah, but you were in the company for 6 years. So, right. But you feel like you developed and matured artistically and technically
much more after I left. Yeah.
So you were overwhelmed but that's how you learned the craft of making money also behind the scenes basically. And then other people ask you, hey, I know you, or someone needs an assistant, things like that, right?
Totally. Yeah.
That's how you can. That's I think great. It's probably having a job like that that doesn't consume your body.
Totally. It's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah, gives you some money, and maybe you even dance better because you have something to fall back on. I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, I had one of a woman I work for came to my show last weekend, and we've been like making the joke all week. She was like, my bookkeeper is so hot. Like my bookkeeper is just like this hot ballerina, and we'd never met in person. Wow. So it was very funny that she flew here to come see the show.
Oh, this is so sweet.
Yeah, we worked together for a long time. We worked together for like over a year. Oh. So she came to see the show and was like, my bookkeeper is so hot.
Yeah, she was probably starstruck because I came to the same show. So let's talk a little bit of what you are doing now and what's the life of a freelance dancer in Los Angeles, because that's what Carmen is right now. Let's start from the latest production you were in. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? Because I came and then I have my questions. But yeah, what production was that?
Yes, I just did a show this weekend, Laurie Sefton Creates. And Laurie Sefton is an incredible choreographer. We met in class. We met at Westside,
yeah.
Which is just like great because it's, you can just meet someone in class and you never know who has like a show, who has choreography, who has work.
And clearly she recognized you right away as a professional, so she came to you. She said, hey, who are you?
We introduced each other, and she has a lot of really incredible work, and she's been choreographing around Los Angeles for
30 years,
quite some time.
Yeah, I was reading something like that.
Yeah, so we rehearsed from October to February. Wow. Quite a nice long contract.
Yes, that's good.
And we had a three-piece show, so it was 2 were repertory pieces that she's performed before.
Oh, the first 2 ones?
No, the second 2.
Okay, second and third.
And Mythology of Self, yes.
Okay.
Had both been performed before, and then we also created a new work together.
The new work was the one, can you say the title and then I comment?
Choose the face that best describes how you're feeling.
Yeah, and it's the one with, I call it with the pajama that I loved it. Yeah, no, I love this. Hey, you know what I loved about that piece? The song, Who I Am Not.
Yes. Yeah.
And that I love that. Actually, that was my favorite. So that's the new work.
That was the new work. Yeah, a lot of people. It got a lot of great feedback. It was
my favorite.
So fun to work on, honestly, because it was it was a lot about like crises and dealing with personal crises and recovering from the pandemic also, and how people are just having so many personal crises in their life and like feeling very alone and not being able to navigate through that. And
it's funny because I was a little bit misled on the booklet when I read pandemic, and I'm like, oh no, don't tell me that I need to sit down on something that talks about the pandemic. That's how I was not open. Like, of course, these are all thoughts that I kept to myself.
Yeah,
so I was not
yeah.
I was not open to it. I'm like, oh my God, the pandemic, it's not over yet, clearly, and I have to sit here and then I was like, no, I love it. I love the color. A stupid thing. The color of the socks, that gray. And gray is not my favorite color. I don't know. It was sensorially, I liked it. I liked the costume. And it was like quote pajama, like modern.
No, it was.
Modern.
It was pajamas.
It was pajama.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had so many bias, but I was like, no, I like this. And then the song, Who I'm Not. And I started thinking, who am I not? Like, it was very nice piece of choreography, well danced, good interpretations. You were shining in the play.
Thank you.
And actually, I was like, I'm going to ask Carmen when she comes on the podcast, who are you not?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I guess I was thinking a lot more in it about who I was. We all had little, how to say, I guess we all had little like emotions that were kind of each of our characters in a way, like in a loose way. And I was panic. So during a lot of my like solos in the piece and stuff, I was being panic, or I was being panicked. So that was like a lot of what.
Is that an emotion you feel a lot in your life or in your career? Why did you choose panic in the creative process? Did the choreographer Laurie decided that you were panic? How did that create it?
She decided for each of us which, but I think there was some of us in it, definitely. I definitely am a little bit of a panic dancer, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like, what does it mean to be a panic dancer?
I love to like go fast, and most of the time I'm going at like the speed of light to the point that it actually makes it like very bad. Like,
blurry, the technique blurs together.
Yeah. One of the like big jokes in the company is like, oh, Carmen, like she needs to meditate. Because it's true, because I'll like try too hard, it's totally a thing where you can like overpunch it. You overpunch the choreography and you actually end up like throwing yourself kind of like off, or you just look messy. Like you look like
in life, trying too hard.
Yeah, you look like you're like trying so hard to do the choreography, and it's like, no, just do the choreography. Actually,
that's why you got the panic.
Yeah, so that's why I got panic.
Although you didn't give me vibes of panic. I don't know what vibes I got, because I felt like, it was sensorially pleasant and inviting to reflect upon who you are, and I know who you're not, because I'm and talking about meditation, by the way, Brittany just asked me off, that's the guest and former colleague, and not colleague of yours, because you guys are still ballerinas.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had this guest, and we'll have the episode up, and we talked so much about many things, and she asked me I know I can say this because it's personal but beautiful. She said, hey, what do you know? There's something else we didn't talk about to that you know and you do to know yourself. Mm-hmm. And I said, Brittany, you are so well put together, because she's doing it all, artistically, psychologically, education. Like I said, the only thing you didn't mention that I do is meditation. That's the only thing the only tool she didn't have in her box, because she has so many tools. She's completely impressive. The only tool she didn't have is that I don't have anything to teach you. But the only thing that you didn't mention is actually meditation that I would add. And it's funny that you say
that's so funny.
They tell you, that came out. I'm gonna send you and her the channel I use to meditate. It's for free.
Yeah, I want to try it. Yeah, I've been trying, but it's very hard.
I was telling her
it's very hard to actually like empty your brain fully. Like that's kind of something that it's totally helped my dancing a lot. But it's like you're thinking about so many things. That's what we do. You're thinking about 1,050,000 different things that you want to fix all at once, and sometimes you look like that because you're doing it. You're like I'm doing all the things, and it's like no, but you have to like calmly do them. You have to like formulate a to-do list and like calmly like attack each of the corrections or each of the things that you want to fix. So it's like very
That's interesting because, I mean, of course, I'm not a professional ballerina, I'm an adult ballerina, but I feel everything you're talking about it, I feel it more in my life than in my dancing.
Interesting.
I feel that in my dancing, although of course there are a million things to improve, actually my dancing is the moment when finally the that I have in my head constantly disappears and I can finally focus on the technique millimeter by millimeter, like musically, technically in my body. So it's actually ballet. One of the things that made me fall in love with ballet is that it kind of focusing on calmly on everything, although calmly I panic, but not, that's not, but that actually stops a little bit the panic I constantly have in my mind for sometimes for a reason or sometimes for no reason at all. And it's interesting. And of course then, I mean, you panic also when you dance, but it's not like, but it's interesting. It's the first time that I hear it, that it's like you feel it instead in your dancing, like.
Probably because it's my job, probably because there's like a high level of pressure for sure. I mean, but it's self-inflicted. Like you're not going to get fired for like, I don't know, like not applying one correction or like not doing one thing. Like it's about the work and the process of getting to that place to deliver like the best show that you possibly can. But yeah, absolutely. Especially like when you're young and you're training, like you have these crazy teachers. Not crazy. I always had very nice teachers actually, but they expect crazy. Yes. They expect of
the
you.
Expectations are crazy.
The expectation is very high. They expect of you to do everything that they ask just immediately. And so you end up internalizing that kind of like pressure of like, oh my God, I have to do it. Or if I can't do it, like what's going to happen? Your nervous system becomes like that. Yeah, but that's actually the worst thing ever, because that makes you like very tense. Like up, tense, not able to do it. It's like the more you care about doing it, the worse you're gonna do. We just talked about it in life in general. Well, yeah, of course, with everything. Yeah. But yeah, the more you care, the worse you have to just give up. So maybe you can explore the meditation. I'm gonna send you a couple of the ones I do. I feel like it's hard for me not to meditate, but to find the time to meditate, but not because I'm super busy. When I say to find the time of meditating, sometimes I feel like quote a drug addict. Like I have spent maybe 1 hour and a half looking at my phone looking at things I don't care, people I don't care, like coming out of a like. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I'm like the doom scroll. Yeah, and why why didn't I meditate? Because my body prefers to check out doing that rather than sitting meditating, although meditation is super fulfilling. And I think it's because maybe there's the fear to get in touch with who I really am, which is a beautiful thing, but for some reason there's a resistance to get there, to get there and stay with who you are and who you are not. And when I meditate, I don't get into silence. Like I feel feelings, images, memories. So it's a beautiful flow. Yeah. But probably there is also the risk in this beautiful flow that some inconvenience truth come out, but not big truths, like feelings that you don't want to deal with. I don't know, because I don't find the time, but the time of doing the scrolling for 2 hours, yes. Oh yes, absolutely. Also, as a dancer, I think you like your body feels different like every day. Like every day you like wake up and you're like, what hurts today? What sort of pain do I have today, basically? And it's like, is it little? Is it big? Do I need to do something about it? Do I not need to do something about it? Do I just need to notice it? Am I off my leg? Am I favoring this leg? It's like every day it's like you adjust a little bit because the body is so imperfect. Like it's not a perfect machine at all. And then it depends on, what you're doing. It depends on the shape of your body. Like I have scoliosis, so it's like it's a little bit curved naturally. Everything is like a little bit off naturally. So then it's like, are you more even today? Are you less even today? Did you sleep funny? Did you work really hard yesterday and now something's really tight and now you have to roll that out? Or like every day about it. And physically, and actually meditation would help you to get into it with a less panicky, but more blissful approach. Let me feel everything, and even my chakras. Have you ever tried the chakra meditation? No. They're energetic points, and it's a good way to align those and align spiritually, but also physically, because they are energetic points. Yeah.
and in line also mentally and spiritually. So,
very cool.
And what does hurt today?
What hurts today? You know, today, this whole week, I've just been kind of like coming down from having performed last weekend.
Yes.
So that, it depends what you have. I mean, I had a bigger role in the show. So
you did. You were like busy in that show.
I was very busy, yeah. And you actually didn't see, I think you came on Friday, and on Thursday I did the lead in More Please. So I worked on that. I learned 2 different roles to
in
switch
both of
off.
them.
Yes. And then I learned the new piece. So I was on stage for like maybe 30 minutes.
Because I didn't see you in the new piece.
I was in the new piece. I wasn't in the last piece. I wasn't in Mythology of Self.
Sorry. Because I would have. I saw you in the new piece. I didn't see you in the third piece. Sorry, the first piece is the one I like.
Because I was spending all my rehearsal hours doing both the other pieces.
Yes,
I would have died. I would have absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
No, after that, during intermission, we were all joking that I was like done by intermission. But like during intermission, I was laying on the ground. I was like, this is it.
And
I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. And you also had the costume change. Character change, because they were completely different.
Totally. And then that's another thing that you kind of come down off after you finish a bigger show, is that like, that's your character. Like that's your person. Like you're just like so in that character. You've been very invested in it for a long time. So it's like,
it's gone.
And then it's gone. And then it's just gone. And you're like, oh, I guess I'm not. You're like, and then of course the dancer in me is like, I'm like, so what do we do now?
Well, I can tell one thing. If you meditate, you're gonna take them with you during the meditation.
Yeah.
Like they stay with you, and you take them more actively. You see those characters are in you.
Of course.
But through the meditation, I noticed that things like that.
Yeah.
Stay with me more. Yeah, you feel them. And then they come with you into the next, rather than feeling, where are they, abandonment, and now I'm even more panicky because I'm losing something. And you don't know, but you're losing the characters, I'm losing the work, the character. Yeah, and with the meditation, I don't know, they stay with you more consciously, like you have that time to feel it. Those were 2 beautiful characters. So let's talk a little bit about those. So one, who you're not, well, we can say, who you are not, maybe, but I shouldn't talk about others, but you are not a calm girl.
Not calm. Never. Getting better at being calm.
There's a danger in being calm.
Right, well, you know.
What's the danger in being calm?
I think I just love to go fast. That's one of my like main things when I'm dancing. Like I love to dance at like a certain speed and just like go through things so quickly. And
it's your spirit.
It's my soul is just like running at the speed of light all the time. So it's like, no, calm doesn't come. But I feel like I am actually calm in a crisis. Like, like my car gets towed and I'll just be like, all right, let's go get it.
Good, that's perfect.
But as like in terms of like the speed at which I want to like do anything, do life, I'm like, let's get there. We need to go.
And well, probably you are even structured as a body, like it's
fast.
Nerve with a lot of nerve. You have a body with a lot of nerve, really compact and fast.
Totally.
Yeah. You're like I know I'm not like that.
Zip.
Yeah, no, I can tell from my pictures when I was a baby, like a fat baby. I couldn't even fit in and like that. Like not, I knew I was a fat baby. You were a fat baby.
I mean, yeah, all the best babies are fat.
Oh, really? Okay, because I was
skinny baby. That's weird.
Okay, because I was not fitting in.
That's good. That grows into a beautiful adult. A skinny baby.
Okay, that's weird. Because I even the doctors kind of told my mom, not in a good way. I was healthy, but like she's big with a big head. And I didn't want to walk, so I knew there was not
lazy.
Lazy baby. Observing, very observant, like always. If I see even the pictures, never like when you see the babies checked out, like no, never checked out, like very like but studying, but I didn't want to walk, I didn't want to dance, or like it was like no, I know there is no speed in me. I acquired it as a gymnast, and now as an old ballerina I try to go, but I know I don't have it, and it's not even the shape of my body. But you have that kind of, I remember the athletic girl, like you have that. Are you very well coordinated by nature?
No.
I know. Not that one. Speed, yes, but not coordination. Often they go together, because the people who have the best coordination, they also want to go fast because they know they can handle the speed.
I think a lot of people will tell me no, would say I'm like lying, but I actually really believe this.
You know if you are or
like,
not. I know not.
I think that I always had like facility, like I always had like long legs, you know, hyperextension, nice feet, everything was there to do ballet, but
no problems with your weight, like because you're super
long neck, like my very short torso, like everything was great, but I was not coordinated. Like so I didn't get things like naturally. Like I felt like I always had like friends that I was like, you just do it. Like,
you just do
like
it.
Sort of dance. And I always felt like but I was very smart. I was very smart. I could like watch, I could analyze and like figure out the stuff.
That's my only thing I have. Yes, I watch and break it down, study it, and then eventually you absorb it really, really well.
So in the end, I think it's better. It's better to be smart and like less naturally talented. Yeah. But I tell my students that all the time because I teach dance. I'm like, I wasn't talented because they just see like a dancer now. They're like, oh, they like love when I like show them the tendu. They're like, oh my god. And I'm like, no, but I wasn't like naturally talented. Like I had to teach myself, and now I'm gonna teach you. Like
I remember asking Nancy. I don't remember her last name. She was with Los Angeles Ballet. We were working as hostesses together many years ago. Nancy Richer, I think. Do you know her?
No.
I love. She's beautiful dancer, like beautiful. And I remember we were working as hostesses together, and I had just studied ballet as an adult. Yeah. And I was like, but the tendu is so, because I literally. And she looked at me like, what's in a tendu? It's so simple, right? Yeah. But for me, it's... And now I understand her. And she was nice, you know, in a funny way. She was like, I was like, but Nancy, but the tendu. And she looked at me like, she dances, she's 3 years old, like,
of course.
She was like, Liliana, like you do it. I'm like, no, but
it's so hard. There's so many pieces.
No. But she was like, Liliana wanted to do, like the client is coming. Right. She said, we had so much fun. Nancy, miss you. This is like a lovely person. But I remember that, and I could tell that she was born this way. Yeah. Like she doesn't remember learning because she was early in age that she started training, but also because she has it. Yeah, she has it in her. She doesn't need to break down every single thing.
I mean, people like that will have other issues, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, everyone has their own thing. But yeah, totally. I was always so jealous. I was like, my partner, like he just like dances. He just like, and I'm like, he just like falls into a fifth position. I'm like,
falls into it.
That's
it
so
doesn't
cool.
fight.
That's so nice for you. Like I'm like over here, like I gotta warm up for an hour. And then maybe. Like,
what about the turning? Do you have the spotting? Like I know that's not my thing. That comes.
Comes fine.
Comes fine.
Not crazy, but. You know, I don't know. That was never like a big thing in my life either, of like having all the tricks. You know, I would rather have the technique.
Yes, but it comes. Yeah, okay.
Comes fine.
Okay, so let's let that who you're not always said it. Let's talk about the second piece you were in with that beautiful corsetto.
More Please.
Yeah, what was that piece? Do you wanna?
I love More Please.
Who was your character? What did you take away?
Yeah, it was More Please was really, really fun to work on. Laurie Sefton premiered it in 2014. So there was an original cast and like plenty of video from the original cast, which was incredible to work off. Yeah. So I was the like second person really to have done it. So that was like a lot of pressure because the original cast obviously is like Genevieve. I can't remember her last name.
Genevieve. Okay.
She's incredible. So I'm like watching the video and, you know, you want to do it like you, but you also want to do it exactly the way the original cast did it. So, and we worked on it for so long. So that the piece is about a couple who they don't have time for intimacy. They don't have time for sex. Yes. So
I didn't even get that.
There's like so many, and a lot of audience times, like the audience has their own interpretation. And the audience connects really well with like a certain character or person and wants to put something from their own life onto
exactly, which is actually why you go see something to see yourself. But I definitely picked up the sex vibe and the sexy vibe, but I didn't understand there was no time for it. I thought there was plenty of time.
No time. So, and I loved working on it because it was really cool. It was in classical ballet, I feel like you always get like a fairy. You're a fairy, or you're some sort of villain.
Yes.
Or you're a friend of the main character somehow, right? You've got kind of like niches.
Yes, absolutely, in the main stories.
Right, you're either some sort of dead being that has risen,
or you're like, Bayadere,
exactly, you're a shade or a willy or something, or you're like an animalistic fairy type of thing, either a swan or a fairy.
Oh yeah,
you have wings somehow, like you've got
right.
So we have these, like in the classics, these like archetypes of characters, and especially if you're not a principal dancer, if you're just a soloist character or a corps, your character is like generally horrifically underdeveloped.
It's true, like to support the main.
Right, like it's like, who is this character? Oh, I don't know, she's Kichu's friend.
Yes,
okay, we don't know anything
it's
about
actually
her.
called Criti's friends, two of them. Although there's a freedom in that, you can make them
and then you can kind of put your own spin on it. But what I loved about dancing Laurie's piece, for the first time in my career, I had this character who was like a real person. Like that felt like a very like real character of having
someone with a job.
I'm someone who's upset and exasperated because she doesn't have time for intimacy. That's like a real life character to deal with. And like, okay, how would I do it if I was really exasperated with him, or like,
it's funny that as you're talking, I understood why I didn't understand that was not lack of intimacy because of exasperation of time, because I was never in a relationship for so long to get to that point. That's why I didn't read that, because I didn't
you wanted to read something from your own life.
Because I didn't experience that.
Totally.
Of all the dramas, that's a drama I never had.
And that's the thing, is that the piece
interesting. You see, we really see what we want to see.
Oh, absolutely. And the piece also had 5 dancers in it, not just 2. So there was opportunity to read all these different things, all these different relationships between those 5 people.
Absolutely.
On stage. It's like, okay, now the 2 boys are sort of doing the same thing briefly, or now the 2 girls have sort of synced up, or like they're switching couples, now they're not. It was really cool because it was a lot more complicated, I think, than kind of that like classic do your 1 minute variation and then leave.
There was a lot of dynamic, and you could see a lot of things, and definitely on in sensuality, right? It's from the costume that suggested that,
and not that there's anything wrong with do your 1 minute variation and then leave. You just have like way less time.
You did it with Hollywood Ballet the Gala. You had your variation, the classical variation, the shade, right?
I did it in, I think, less than a minute. I did it in like 59 seconds. Like that was a very fast one. Yes.
Yeah. So so there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also beautiful to explore a real.
They're so different. I did the first shade variation, La Bayadere.
La Bayadere, and this one instead is a real woman.
Yeah,
more
totally.
Not that the shades is not a real woman. Someone who died of heartbreak or so.
Well, the shades was really fun. Also, it's different. It's got a lot of like history in it to the classic. I mean, especially like something like Bayadere. It's like, so it has to be done like just exactly the right way.
How did you approach that?
Luckily, I had Petra and Eris, so I mean, luckily
they are very highly.
Petra
Conte is Neja, very highly trained ballet dancers from La Scala in Milano, and founders of Hollywood Ballet.
Yeah, so I feel like lucky I had great coaches.
What did you get from them in that role that maybe having a different training you didn't notice, or you wouldn't put? Like what did you?
Yeah, they're just really specific, and you just feel like they know those ballets so well, because that's their whole life is each of these classical ballets. So, you feel they
really infuse
like,
the tradition they carried.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's like a big part of, I think, just classical ballet in general is like, and like why I teach and stuff is like, well, you can't learn it from just YouTube, like a book, like where are you gonna, like, I mean, there are plenty of people who think they have, but you
pass it on.
Exactly. And you have to have a teacher and have somebody who knows. And so like when I work with Petra and Eris, I feel very confident and comfortable. I'm like, okay, if you say that this is the way, this is the way.
This is the way.
I'm
they
like,
come from
because they're from Europe, they come from the tradition.
La Scala in Russia.
Yeah, and they've danced in all, all of the major ballet companies in the world. They're internationally renowned superstars. So it's like, if you say that's the way, I'm going to do it.
And do you ever find maybe, because like Petra is this perfect ballerina, more pressure, like how, like, this is a very classical role and I know how she dances it, and am I gonna be able to live up to this expectation?
I think in general with the classics, that's a thing. You have the expectation of every other dancer who's ever done it. And there's no interpretation. There's no interpretation. The variation is the variation. The steps are the steps. I mean, there's a little bit of interpretation.
Yeah, no, there is, but I understand when you compare.
You're comparing a bunch of dancers and their principal dancers, Black Swans. They're all different, but they're all the same.
Uh-huh.
So there's a way of doing it, of honoring the tradition and doing it right, and also doing it as you.
Yeah.
And the second half of that question, what's it like having Petra Conti around? She takes class. She's just there, and she takes in the back, she's so unassuming, but it's like, yes, it does dawn on me like every day that I'm like, this internationally renowned principal dancer is just like, it's like chilling in the back corner.
You can absorb a lot from her.
Oh, absolutely,
also. Things that she doesn't say, but just by...
You can try to watch. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, energetically, it's okay. And where did you train? So you didn't train in Milano or in how did little Carmen get into ballet?
I grew up here in the States, in Seattle.
Seattle.
So I went to...
Pearl Jam comes from Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Jam, the band.
Oh, yes, Pearl Jam. Yes, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
All from Seattle. And me.
And you. And Carmen Callahan.
And me, from Seattle.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Seattle. Pacific Northwest Ballet is a big company there. And I went to P&B schools since I was 11.
Ah, okay. I love actually that
12.
company. They're very balancing, right?
They're very balancing.
I like that company actually.
I was so lucky. I mean, I had great teachers, incredible training from that time. I was like just a little
11. But what before 11? Like what you were there, like you grew up in a family?
I had just regular. My parents aren't dancers at all.
No.
Oh, I feel like they actually would be happy if I wasn't a dancer. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, they're not artists in any way. They're like, they're like, what is this? they love it. They're so happy now.
Yeah.
But now I'm 27.
Yes.
When I was 12, they were like, what is happening?
What is this?
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
How are you going to make a living? But how did it start then? They were not dancers. How did you take your first class?
I think I was like 3. I think my mom took me for like socialize. I was like a very shy child, I think, she said. So she took me to like socialize. I think it stuck somehow. And then, I got like serious around the time of P&B, definitely, because I mean, you can't be training at P&B. You can't have that opportunity.
Yes,
plenty of people actually did have the opportunity and weren't serious, but I wasn't going to take that opportunity for granted.
Okay.
I was really lucky. It was great. Really structured, just ballet class, point class every single day.
For how many years?
Until I was 18, so 6 years.
What were the best parts of this training and the biggest challenges?
Gosh, best parts. I think, best part was just it was super structured. So, ballet class, it was a lot like what being in a company is like. You take class every day. When I was a student, we had point class every day afterwards, and then we would have third class. So we would have variations or rep. Sometimes modern, not too much.
Okay, not too much. Now you do a lot of modern.
That's new, honestly. I hadn't really danced. I think dancing with Laurie was like the first time I went on stage without point shoes in a really long time. Yeah.
How do you adapt to that?
Oh, it's a struggle. Oh, I thought she wanted to fire me. We laughed about it.
How do you adapt to that? Because modern dancers are also very like they look down at you. It's not only ballerinas are stuck up, but also modern dancer
And
with
I
a
was
great
very,
training,
like,
and you
conscious of
don't
that.
have it. You are all balletic. They look
And,
at you like, what's your problem?
Absolutely. And I was
right?
like,
Yeah.
worried that, I would look like a ballerina just trying to
do modern.
Right. And I was worried that I would look like bad doing it. Like, because I was like, I
know the feeling.
I don't, have this kind of training. I haven't been like taking modern classes or anything. And so it was a big adjustment in like, just an adjustment in how I thought, how I approached the choreography.
How you breathe. Also,
everything,
probably, right?
Everything. Like, I remember like the first couple of rehearsals, like we would have all these conversations of like, no, you don't see. No, you're not seeing it. Right. And I was like, I'm going to try and make this shape. And it's like, no, you don't need to worry about making a shape. Like, you need to expand your thinking. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was definitely a process because this is some of the most contemporary work I've done in a long time. But now I've learned a lot from it, so now I think I would be able to do.
Now you are a modern dancer.
To do more. Yeah, well, now I have another tool.
Officially.
But of course, then I had to, this week, then I go back to Hollywood ballet class and it's like,
ouch.
Okay, pick a variation.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you want to do donkey? Let's do donkey.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hard because that's something I definitely grew up with. P&B, they would do everything, but it's not that easy. You still get sort of pigeonholed into little parts of like, oh, well, you tend to get roles that that you'll do well.
Good. Yeah, you're good at that.
Right, exactly. Because you're good at that. Well, let's use her in that and stick with it.
You may need some. What are roles that you feel like also growing up they're really for you?
Oh, I really enjoyed the first shade. Like anything like kind of fast like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fast. It's it's over in 50 seconds. No, the shades was great. Anything Balanchine. I do want to dance more Balanchine. I haven't really in a couple years, but it's hard with the trust and the licensing of the work is very expensive.
Yes.
So a lot of companies they can't
afford it.
Yeah, it's hard to just have Balanchine laying around. So you have to have a stager come from the trust and stage it properly.
So right now you're doing Laurie just finished this big project and Hollywood Ballet with the next ones they're coming up with.
Yes.
And what about Chazen?
Chazen, we're going to be working on a show also very soon for the spring.
For the spring?
That I've done before actually, but it's going to be a revamp.
Maybe
the Phoenix.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was my first show with him.
Oh, okay.
So
I saw that.
2 years later, my very first show is coming back.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's so nice. And so how did you come to Los Angeles? How did you land in Los Angeles?
I came in 2018. I came for American Contemporary Ballet
with Brittany Yevoli that was on this podcast.
We were apprentices together.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. Like, were you as a young dancer, like, were you excited when finally you found the job? Did you audition a lot? How did that happen, American Contemporary Ballet?
Totally. I auditioned a lot. I remember the day I auditioned, I did 3 auditions that day.
Wow. Did you audition in New York or up in Portland?
I auditioned in New York.
Seattle.
An open audition. I didn't live in Seattle at the time, actually. I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I was dancing with Pittsburgh Ballet Theater as a trainee. And I needed a job. I needed a job very badly. I was like 20 years old and I needed a job. And did the ACB audition. I think I did 2. I did one before it and one after it. I did 2 other auditions that day.
Wow, intense.
So yeah, it was very... it's hard to get a job when you're 20 years old. So you're 20 years old, you have pretty much no experience. I wasn't getting the job at PBT, which everybody wanted, but only 2 people got, so it's...
Out of many?
Probably like 60 that year. Wow. I think there were a ton of us. And, I knew from the jump there that I was not going to end up in the company. It wasn't the right fit. So, you're running around, you're trying to find a job. I think I went to New York on like a megabus. I did.
Wow.
I rode the megabus. Yeah.
By yourself?
Oh, yeah, by myself.
And you got there and you had 3 auditions that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how was this one? Did you get, when you auditioned for American Contemporary Ballet, did you have the impression that you got the job or not?
No, I went all the way through to like an interview, and I ended up getting the job much later. Like I think they contacted me and asked me to come, like the week of. Like they contacted me like May.
Okay,
and said, like,
wow.
Can you get here right now?
Like right now, like
Yeah.
today. Maybe you think maybe someone.
And what's hilarious is it absolutely just did not work out with that company. Like it was horrible. Like it was really, really bad for 6 years.
Wow.
But it got me here, so I can't complain.
It was tough, eh?
It was very hard, yeah. And I think for
what were the major challenges?
It was a very small company.
Yeah.
So that can be hard for many reasons. You know, there was a lot of things like
without, I don't want, but just generic or challenges, even if you don't want to talk about the challenges, like challenges that you found yourself facing through the challenges that maybe we don't want to talk about in particular, but you can.
There were like hard to niche down on one, honestly. Like there were so many things. The pay was awful.
So how was it?
Okay,
let's talk about the pay was awful and Los Angeles super expensive, and this is about couch surfing to the Walk of Fame. How were you living then?
Oh, I was waiting tables. I was doing the restaurant thing.
Wow, that's super strong. Where did you work? As in what restaurant?
I worked at Umami Burger on Broadway. Wow. It's closed now, actually.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you were, that's super tough.
Oh,
because you had the full-time job, and then you were serving.
Angry. Yeah.
So working tables, serving tables.
Well, and then the first year in the company, you don't even get paid, which isn't like that unusual. There are definitely a lot of small companies that are that way. Like, when you're in the second company or you're a trainee, or even when you're an apprentice, I was an apprentice, didn't get paid. You're there to learn, really. Yes, you're there to essentially, like, it's like a year-long audition, which is fine when you're 20 years old, maybe, but it was like, I had to work.
So you were waiting tables how many days a week?
6, 5, 6. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, only honestly in the last year have I been able to be like, no, thank you, I don't want to work. Wow. And honestly, it's not because I have money. It's just because I have finally realized the value of resting one day a week. Wow. And I still don't have money, but it's like, I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I'm not working on Sunday anymore or whatever. I finally have found the capacity to actually say that.
Do you feel like money, somehow when you gain that capacity to say, no, I cannot slave myself around anymore, abundance comes to you and things shift in a way that you are fine anyways, or you do end up in the street? Because that's my question, because I've been asking myself. I would like the answer so I can do my math, because there are a few things I would like to let go of, but then I'm like, is the universe going to put a net under me when I fall, or I'm gonna just fall and break everything?
No,
so
that's the
please.
I think, I couldn't tell you, but it's like you get at some point where you're like, I just turned 27.
Yes.
And you get at some point in your life where you're like, if I die, I will have worked. All I will have done is worked. And a lot of the work I do, I love the work I do. I love rehearsing and performing and creating new works. Yes. And I love all the companies I work with, The Realm, Hollywood Ballet, everyone. But I have to work on top of that.
Exactly. That's my point.
And you look at your day and you're like, I worked for 14 hours today. And what do I even have to show for it? So at some point you end up being like, if I take 3 hours off, is the world going to catch on fire? No. Right. Yeah, okay, I'll be down $50.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, sometimes you have to make peace with the fact of you could always be working.
Yeah.
You could literally always be working. You could always be working harder. You could always be doing more. But then you take things from what you actually care about. You take your ability to have rested so that you would be focused in rehearsal that day.
Yes,
because you're chasing something that for me, I ended up being like, well, I'm never going to have money.
Yeah.
I'm an artist. I'm never going to have money. It's fine.
Well,
It's
maybe
fine.
you will have them. In meditation, I'm going to send you a meditation about
Maybe I need
abundance.
to meditate about it.
Maybe you are going to attract them, because actually you are actually answering the questions. Things do adjust. You just said, I'm going to be down $50, but you're not in the street right now. So
Right.
when you started saying no to the slave jobs, you just kept, I think, pretty much from your accounting the same lifestyle, because $50 what it is these days, like
Right.
to coffees.
You reassess. You
You reassess.
repurpose.
So the actually the universe put a net under
I think you
you.
just get better at saying certain things of like, okay, I'm not going to start teaching at 9 a.m. on Sundays. I'm going to start at 10:30 because
I need to sleep.
Because I need to sleep. Like, you get better at, like, as you age and like fall into this career a little bit more, you get better at being like, I'm a person.
Yes,
I'm a human being with feelings. Like, yeah, I have to see my partner every once in a while. Like, I have to call my mother every once in a while because otherwise I'll die.
And you feel better. Yeah, and we are gonna add to that some meditation about abundance. So it's gonna come to you, because this phrase you said, "I'll never have money." I said it too much growing up, I think, and the universe kind of
it hears you.
Heard me. And then when I, years ago, I went to Italy for 1 year to take care of a very sudden, unexpected breast cancer. And it's okay. I did some math during that year. I called them the night of the chemo. I was thinking, and I had killed myself with work. I'm a workaholic. And I started thinking, I was meditating Louise A, other meditations. I faced my whole life. And I was thinking, I'm going to be rich. And even now, as I think as a rich person.
Yeah, totally.
Can you believe that things have literally started?
And that's what's crazy, is like what we were talking about, like how I came to Los Angeles. I danced in this company that was a horrible fit. I was never going to be successful. I was truly never going to be successful there. And then that led to, like, once I finally quit, meeting so many people that I would never have met before, that can put me into incredible roles, that can teach me things that are, like, literally priceless.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I wouldn't have met them if I didn't, dance at ACB and then get incredibly fed up enough to quit.
Yes. So I think things come our ways, and also the thinking like abundance, or thinking probably helps attracting it a little bit, or even, as you said, maybe if not attracting $1 million, at least to give us that courage that maybe takes 1 million years to say, hey, not 9 a.m. for my first class with these kids, 10:30. 10:30 here. You ask more money there. You take 3 hours off there, and little by little, everything shifts.
You get, like, really principled about it once you start doing it. Like, once you learn to say no, you get, like, very principled about the fact of, like, oh, no, I don't work at 9 o'clock.
You master it.
I decided that. No.
Yeah,
and it's like the funniest thing ever, because it's like it's a made up rule. You made it up for yourself.
Exactly. But if you are convinced, they obey it. Like, sorry, I asked.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to, like, make rules that are, like, good for you. Of, like, I'm not picking up my phone at after X time. These are the times that I work, or whatever.
And you learned it, after burning yourself.
A little bit. I mean, a little bit. I could still do better, honestly. But we're learning. We're doing better.
And you said your partner. I saw on Instagram you have a new boyfriend.
Newish. Yes, it's been about 6 months.
And it's let's talk. We didn't talk about it with Brittany. We talked about it privately, but I'm not gonna say anything because it was private. So you came here at 20 years old. Actually, I never talk about dating in LA, but it's part of the Hollywood journeys from couchsurfing to the Walk of Fame.
Yes. Well, I have a really public relationship because I'm dating another dancer.
Yeah, exactly. So. How was it for a young girl, like overworking, like
crazy?
Yeah, how what did you, when you came here, did you have some dreams, like I would like a relationship, I would, and like, well, how was it?
Gosh, I think in the beginning, like, it's crazy. Your whole dream, like, your whole life is to, like, be this dancer and do this ballet career and be in a company and be in a bigger company. Then you get the good job, you're like, oh, I need to be in a bigger company. I need to audition more. I need to, like, this and that. And then one day you kind of wake up and you realize, like, oh, I'm doing it. Like, oh, like, this is, like, I'm here. Like, it's, the grass isn't always greener, basically, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was so focused for so long. I mean, I had like relationships and people, but it was really like clicked for me with my current partner because he's a dancer. So it's like really easy because we can do everything together. And it's like,
it's not
really
easy
hard.
though to find a male around, like in a company.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
And
like,
there
male
are a lot of girls.
like a dime a dozen.
What's his name?
Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Harry. We love you.
Yeah, what made, like...
Well, we danced together. We
a lot? Like, when did you meet him? Like, on what job?
We met each other dancing for Jason.
Matchmaker.
No, he is. He's like a matchmaker. Well, we danced together. We did this like pas de deux together, and then that was the first time that we had met. So
did you feel like, oh, I like this guy right away or not?
No.
Okay,
Sorry,
it's
like normal. But it's like normal. Like you just like, I
he's
dance
a colleague.
With, like,
yes.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I dance with other dancers now also still, and sometimes we dance together.
Absolutely, yes, they're normal. Yeah. So it was a colleague. Like, although he's very handsome.
Yeah, but you don't think that your colleague is into you ever normally. You're not like questioning whether people are just into you. So I think but yeah, then one day he like asked me to go on a date. And
that was sweet. So
very cute.
Was it love at first sight for him?
I don't know. You would have to ask him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's nice that we can share.
And when he asked you on a date, what did you think? Like, what is this coming from? Like,
I guess I was like, okay, because I like dancers. I do. I like other dancers because it's very hard, like with people outside of our world, of like explaining like. This podcast episode would make no sense to most people of like explaining that I didn't get paid for a whole year when I was an apprentice. Like that's not a normal thing. And like nothing about dance is normal at all. So it's hard when you have to explain that like all the time. It's just...
You felt, although I feel like probably maybe you're not a narcissistic girl, that's why you didn't notice, but actually the fact all these things for many rich men in this town would be very appealing, like, you know.
Sure.
Like
that's something that,
like
I mean, that's the thing that nobody talks about, but like a lot of dancers, like that is a way of like, you know, you need support.
I'm
you need
still
money.
looking for him. Like this is an official.
Right? Where is he? Where's the rich man?
This is an official announcer. No, just kidding. But yeah, like.
But it's
not only dancers, many.
Well, but it's nicer to like share. I think our
for many it would be actually very, very exciting. Although then there's a price to pay. They may have a little bit of control over you because of that. But yes, but you thought, no, I want someone like that. You know, I'm not a price for. I'm not.
Well, we got lucky. I mean, I feel like it was very
a peer. You wanted a equal.
Yeah, totally. So it was very like unexpected to just like meet someone you're dancing with. So it was nice.
And you got along with. Yeah, you look good together. I saw it on Instagram when I was like, oh, but that's something new. I didn't. It's a good thing. Okay, so that was the dating. So you found love with a peer. Although, again, in this town, a beautiful girl dancer can be a prize for many, I think. Or I think for some you could be really like a prize, like I'm with the ballerina, beautiful girl. For others, instead, it could be what you said, and like, what is your career? What is your money? What is your that's
definitely
like
harder as I've gotten older.
I wanted to ask you that.
You know, people outside of the dance world don't see like kind of the value in like me saying like, you know, oh, I just worked on a new work with Laurie for 4 months, and you know, last year I debuted as the first shade, and like, how are they gonna know that's like impressive or that matters?
I found that out later, but not that actually too later. Actually, it was one of the first disappointments for me in Hollywood when I heard people talking about she's an actress, she's a ballerina, she's a dancer, like implying it's like
not serious, serious.
Money, no career.
Right, because if you don't have money, it's not serious.
Yeah, unless you succeed. And those, though, I learned are the same people. Then when you do succeed, they are your maths,
You're right,
you
your
know.
worst enemy.
So because maybe deep down I learned it with time. Maybe deep down that's what they wanted for themselves as well, but they didn't even have the courage to be in the vulnerable place of being no one. And just to pursue a passion. So, but I understand, like, that's why I was asking, like, you see these people buying cars and houses and you know, you get older and it's like, so it's
but there's more important things, you know, like, that's what I mean when I say about, like, working with, like, Petra and Eris, like, working on a classical variation with them, the history that's in that, it's like, that's priceless. That doesn't, that's not something that, would I be happier if I had a really nice car, but I wasn't a dancer? Probably not. I mean, I don't know, because I don't have a really nice car. But if anyone would like to buy me a really nice car.
She said until she tried.
Until I tried it. And then I tried
really nice Maserati and she said, ballet what?
I'm immediately going to get like a corporate job.
No.
But I think that's the difference, you know, like.
So what would you say to someone who's struggling to keep their dream alive, or like, because maybe the money is not is an issue, or the fear of the future? What would you say? Prioritize your happiness?
I try to always prioritize the thing that I care about the most, whether or not it pays the most, or any of the other factors. Like, you know, like for me, like, I care to be on stage, and so that's really, like, you have to do a justice also to, like, yourself. I think, like,
justice, you have to do justice to yourself. Let's highlight that.
Love that part. I feel like, because you're gonna get old. It's gonna be harder. Like, your career is over very quickly as a dancer. You can't do it forever. So it's like, to give up an opportunity to have worked on yourself and be on stage, or, you know, and sometimes it's, like, incredibly boring. You know, sometimes you just have to, like, you don't have a big show. Because you don't have a big show every day. You have to go to class, even when you don't feel like it, even when everything freaking hurts. And you're like, okay, let me drag myself out of bed. Let me take myself to class, because that's...
Because that day you are the only one who can prove to herself you're a dancer if you're not in a job that day.
Right. And, you know, some days you don't have rehearsal, but you never know if you show up to class, you know, who you're going to meet. You never know what someone's going to need, or rehearsal wise. You could show up to class and another dancer is injured, and then it's like, do you want to do it? You're here.
Wow. Yes.
So you have to go, or none of that happens in class, but you needed to have gone because
you need to keep yourself in shape.
Right.
Well, that's why then you couldn't answer the question really who you are not, because I feel like you live your life very humbly based on who you are.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that. I hope so. I think you have to also be adaptable in this job. Like, I kind of wait for the choreographer to come tell me who I am sometimes.
Nice.
And that's the thing of, like, you never know what somebody will see out of you, or that they'll see something of you in their work.
Yeah.
Or how they'll be able to use you. So you just show up. You know, all you have to do basically is just show up and try. But not too hard.
Not too hard. Like
not too hard. In my case, not too hard. But, like, you have to show up, you know. That's, like, a lot of, like, I feel like the missing factor for a lot of, like, artists. Like, they just get tired of just showing up and not having anything to show for it. And it's like, but that's
at that point you show up for yourself.
That's what you signed up for, basically, is that you just show up.
For yourself when there's no audience to show up for, or no job to show up for, and the rest.
I mean, like, every job I've ever gotten, I think I've gone off of, like, just showing up.
Wow.
Just show up to the audition, just show up to the class, like, just show up. Like, if you stay in bed, you're not going to get shit done.
That's a great thing. And I think that also this side job you have as an accountant probably also keeps you motivated, because if you were cut for the corporate world, or you would have been like, you know, but this is also a way for me. But it's like you like it and everything, but you know how it feels, and it's like, no, I think I am more myself on stage.
Totally.
So that's also a good thing. What do you see in your future?
Gosh, that's a hard question. I don't know. I think I love it here. I've done a lot of great work here, but I'm really open to everything else that's out there, you know? So sometimes you
also do your own choreographies, right?
Not too much,
Not
really.
too much. Okay, no, not too much.
I honestly don't like it.
Okay, because I saw that video that I asked you about.
Yes,
yeah.
I did.
But it was just
choreograph a
that
piece
time.
with my friend Ellis, who I've put together a lot of work with. Honestly, a lot of like photography. And we've done a little bit of film together, and I can.
Yeah, but it's not what you see.
I don't love it as much, you know. There are some dancers that totally like they're always searching for a choreographic opportunity, and I prefer
Leah.
Yes,
who was in Lawrence.
She's great choreographer.
She's a great choreographer.
And I kind of like prefer to be in somebody else's work. Okay. Like I'm the friend that'll be like, I'll be in your piece.
Yes, rather than creating your own. So in your future, just one day at a time.
One day at a time now.
One day at a time.
Yeah, I love teaching. So, you know, someday maybe I'd like to teach a little bit more and stuff. But
starting at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah, starting at 10:30 a.m. You know, but I like dancing right now. So it's kind of like you don't want to pre-plan the end of it too much.
Absolutely.
I still feel like really young and like have a lot of opportunities coming. So.
Yes. And then I learned in life, as John Lennon, I think, said, life is what happens to you while you were busy making plans.
Yeah.
So you plan and then what? No and I have a curiosity. So with Brittany, when she was here, we talked about the first year as an apprentice, couch surfing. You were both apprentices with American Contemporary Ballet, not really couch surfing, but so she mentioned drama, but she didn't sell anything about it. Tell us something funny, because you are very light, but we talked about things that are pretty
heavy,
heavy. So tell us some drama, come on, without offending anyone, without selling anyone, but some drama. 4 girls, ballerinas.
Yes, we lived together in a 2-bed, 2-bath. We lived together in a 2-bed.
And someone was in the living room, she said.
Oh yeah. And I have a fake tooth. So my front tooth.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
how
completely
did
fake.
it happen?
I fell on my face doing a tour jeté.
No.
Oh, as a child, let me make that statement a little bit better. It was not recent.
I love that.
But I was only 8 years old. I had all my permanent teeth, and I slipped. Like I was learning tour jetés for the first time, and I was super excited to do them. I was practicing at home.
Boom.
Boom. Hit my face on the ground. My mom, oh my God.
Blood everywhere.
Oh, blood everywhere. My mom said it was like the worst day of her life ever. Like she thought I broke my nose probably.
Yes.
But actually I like lost my front tooth. And so I have a fake one now. It's a
your great teeth, a great smile, I would have never guessed.
So it's permanent now, but when I was younger, you have to wait to get like a permanent implant until you're done growing.
Yes, yeah.
And when I was younger,
because of the bone grafting.
Yeah, when I lived with Brittany, I was only 20 and I wasn't old enough yet to get the permanent tooth. Yeah. So I had this pop out tooth. I had this like retainer that had my front tooth on it that I could pop it out like as a party trick. It was disgusting. It was horrible. But I left it one time in the bathroom, in our shared bathroom, just like sitting on the counter too. And like the 4 girls all have one bathroom. And my tooth is just, they didn't know. And I left it.
That's funny.
I didn't even do it on purpose.
But they didn't misplace it.
No.
Oh, that would have been the real drama. Like, where is my tooth? I have to go on stage. But like in the movie The Substance.
No, stop. I would just keep my mouth shut.
Like smile.
Because the thing is, even if you talk, like you can see your teeth. So.
Absolutely. And you have great teeth, big teeth. So you do see your teeth a lot.
A lot when I talk, yeah.
Oh, so there was that. And do you miss those times with the girls, or you are happy you outgrown them?
Oh, gosh, it was so fun for like such a long time. Like I think that part of your life, like you're like so. I mean, we still are, but you were so like scrappy in a way. Like you would like do anything to get the role. Like,
absolutely.
You're sewing your point shoes in the dark or whatever, and like you come home at like 2 a.m. and you're not even tired, and you're just like, let me sew my point shoes for tomorrow. And like,
yes, she was telling. Yeah.
The dream was very much like alive then. Now I'm a little bit older and I know how to take care of myself a little better. Like I do sleep a lot more than I used to, and I have a real fake tooth. So that's pretty cool.
Well, one thing that you learned to never do in your artistic life, to not if you want to stay true to yourself, because you said we said that you really don't know who you are not, so you know who you are. What to avoid, because in this town it's very easy to lose yourself, and especially as you said, you're scrappy, you need to
I think it's
what to do to stay yourself, or what not to do. Because we said what to do, because you did that. What should you avoid? Maybe even because you saw someone losing themselves, what were they doing that led them there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm really lucky now. I work with like incredible people. I couldn't say a bad thing about anyone. That I'm so lucky and very blessed to work with everyone. But that's a choice. That's on purpose. There's plenty of people who are not so good to work with, and as an artist, like you'll work with them because you're like, it's a job.
You need,
but don't.
Because they damage on the long run.
Right, they damage your freaking like soul, your mind, and also just you lose you close yourself to doing that one thing, and then you lose your opportunity to like actually meet people you should be working with.
So you need to be courageous in your choices, even when you feel like maybe you don't have another choice.
Totally, yeah. But it's hard.
Okay, 2 choices and 2 many beautiful choices for Carmen. As you continue your life in Hollywood, you still want to dance, do many other beautiful things.
Yes.
So
thank you so much.
And thank you for choosing to come on LA Dolce Vita podcast. When I offered, I'm like, who would want to come on this podcast?
No, it's just been so fun. I mean, we just talk about anything. So.
Yeah, thank you for choosing us, and thank you for watching. Thank you, and all the best to Carmen.
As I was drifting through space, an angel told me I could rely on her grace to hold me. I could rely on this place till I found home.